How's everyone doing today? I'm going to be talking about Iron Lung, Markiplier's I was about to say newest horror movie. It's his newest movie in general. I don't think he's ever made a movie or anything. He's like in beginner mode when it comes to making movies. But his acting in this movie kind of says otherwise. His acting was actually really great. For a YouTuber who played games, screaming at robotic furries on the screen. And his acting was really great. He's able to really play off his character. He's really good at getting emotional. I noticed that in just general. Sometimes, like on videos, when he gets super emotional about shit, he just starts to cry. But there are some parts in the movie where when he was getting emotional, it would be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. When he would be having arguments with you're one who sent them down in like this iron lung, which is basically like this metal box that he got welded into. He got sent down into this blood ocean on this dead moon because they're trying to find out what happened to they're basically I should just explain the story first. Pretty much the story of Iron Lung is this thing called the Quiet Rapture happened. It's basically this endgame event where everything just got blinked out of existence. Everything just got disappeared. It's like Thanos just came over, just like turned everyone into dust. Everything's gone. There's a bunch of dead stars, planets, like everything vanished. And pretty much Markiplier is playing this character called Simon, and Simon is a convict, and Simon, he gets welded shut into like this big metal box called the Iron Lung, and he gets sent like super deep underwater and like on this dead moon that's like literally covered in like a blood ocean. Pretty sick concept. And they're trying to get Mark to find bone fragments. They're trying to find some evidence, some clues of like trying to find out some answers of what happened and what they can do and all. And there's some parts where when Markiplier is arguing with one of the people on the intercom, it was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's not really that big of a complaint. It's still like I really like Markiplier, so that's probably why I fucked with it. But if you don't know who Markiplier is, you probably have that as a complaint. You might find it a bit goofy, but I found it funny. It's just curses like, fuck you! That was the deal! You bring me, I find your shit, and then you bring me up, and then you let me out. But then they end up fucking him over, be like, oh no, you still have to keep going, try basically treating him like a dog. His like for a beginner actor, his acting, it seems like he's a professional actor. There's just some funny parts, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I thought the movie, this Charger's so ass. Goddamn, I complained about it before. It's terrible. What the fuck was I saying? This movie I thought was really great overall. I didn't really have any bad expectations or bad hopes about it. I know like YouTubers kind of get like a bad rep or whatever when they're making a movie. I know some other dude, some YouTuber reviewer made a movie and it didn't end up being that great. But some YouTubers like if you're actually like passionate about your shit and you actually want to make it, and you're actually caring about it, you can actually make a pretty good movie. Raka Raka did that with like Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. I thought both those were banger movies. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like Bring Her Back might have been, as 6'7". No, shitty ass meme. I thought Bring Her Back might have been better. So like, yeah, YouTubers can actually make good movies if they actually give a shit about it. And Markiplier, watching this movie, you could tell he actually gave a shit about it. It was independently made, which I think is great because Hollywood, when they touch a movie, it just becomes shit. They just want to change up shit. They want to, they change up the story or make it less gory or whatever, or make it PG-13. That's what's happening to movies nowadays, which I just thought is so fucking ass. It's just like, they're just money-hungry Mr. Krabs motherfuckers that just want cash and that's it. They don't give a shit about the franchise or whatever. I hate it when movies do that. So it was pretty refreshing. It was pretty great that Iron Lung, it still kept, like, it was actually like point for point the same as the game, which I thought was brilliant because it was a great movie. The acting was great and the premise I think is really cool. The thing that this movie does is kind of like Lovecraftian and like a Fear of the Unknown, which I think is really great. I think Fear of the Unknown is really scary because you don't know what it is. Whatever you imagine is going to be always scarier than what is actually present on screen. So yeah, that was great seeing that in the movie. And I was able to appreciate as well how they're able to work with like a lot. They're able to use, I can't fucking say it, but they're able to work with very little of what they had. Like for the majority of the movie, you're just gonna see Markiplier just chilling about doing some I was about to say doing laundry, bro. Yeah, he's doing laundry in an iron lung or in a blood ocean. He's just doing some like casual activities. He's trying to work the ship. He's trying to find information. Trying to see what's happening. There's a computer. And he sees like some images and all, and some lore of the previous people that were here. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think for that though, it was pretty great because He's playing a character called Simon, and you're just with Simon for the majority of the movie, and it kind of he's building it's building like his character, and it kind of makes you care for the character more and more. You kind of get more invested in the character. You kind of get more attached. You're actually starting to give a shit about what happens to him, and then the movie actually kicks off like towards the second half. Towards the second half, I thought it gets really great because there's actual action happening. There's like Lovecraftian shit happening. There's a dream sequence where he gets like brought up to like the surface of the ocean like by this big anglerfish. Like bro actually just hitched a ride on anglerfish like a school bus, and he like looks up in the sky and there's like this giant fucking like I don't know butthole in the sky or whatever. I don't know what to describe. It's just a giant hole in the sky. I kind of thought there's gonna be like a giant creature, giant god or whatever. That ended up being a dream sequence. I thought that part was really cool. I really kind of appreciate Lovecraftian horror. It was just so mysterious and so like it kind of felt like the threat that Markiplier was against in the movie was just it kind of felt like ancient, especially in that dream. And then another thing this movie is actually really good at doing is that it's able to build up tension. And it's able to build up tension because it has like so little happening. Like you're getting very little information. You're kind of just getting Markiplier and he's in a box. You can't really see any of the creatures that are attacking him or anything. You can't really see anything that's gone on outside of this ship. You're only kind of like it's basically like it's like you are Mark and you're only hearing what's happening. So yeah, I think tension building like that is really good because it kind of makes you think like something's gonna happen at any moment. Now there'll be scenes where the ship is getting rocked back and forth and Markiplier is getting flung about like a ping pong ball, and you're thinking he's gonna die or the ship's gonna break open or whatever. It's really good at making you sit on the edge of your seat and build up that tension. And there'd be like the ship at some point it started leaking, and I feel like that might have been foreshadowing, or it kind of made me feel like this ship it's kind of starting to go, bro. It's about to implode on you, like those rich people in the little submarine. They're trying to control it with like a GameCube controller or whatever. Dumbest way to die, by the way. Yeah, it kind of made me think like this ship gonna crush and shit and all. And then towards the second half, it got pretty good because. There'd be like you could see there's like a creature in the movie, and that Mark he was looking through a computer. He's like looking through a bunch of pictures of like the other people previously took on this ship, and one of the pictures he like looked away but he didn't see it. One of the pictures was of an anglerfish, and that kind of made me be like, yo, if he would have seen that, he probably would have not been like fucked over. He probably would have been saved because towards like the later on in the movie he starts hallucinating or some shit. He starts going off his gourd. He forgot to take his meds. He starts out like going normal and all, but then he ends up going insane because he's been alone in the ship for like so long. He can't really do anything except for like wank and just breathe and talk to yourself. I'd go crazy too. So he starts talking to like this otherworldly being or whatever, this ancient being pretty much, who gave him these coordinates, and they wanted him to come to them so they can like find out the truth together or whatever. When I was watching the movie, I was a little bit sus. I was thinking, is that like a creature kind of trying to lure him in, trying to like come in and have a feast or whatever? I was a little bit sus. I was like, why is this random person want to meet Markiplier so badly? And I did notice as well, or one of the boys noticed that when one of the people that sent Mark down was talking on the intercom, the light would be blinking, and then when the creature was talking, the light was not blinking. So that kind of made me think it is a creature and all. But then there's this whole thing with Markiplier going crazy and he's hallucinating. So it's like you don't know if this is real or if that's real. It kind of makes you second guess whether like if he's actually talking to a creature or if he's just gone full on Tyler Durden schizo mode and he's just talking to himself in his brain. I thought that was really cool that they done in the movie. I just think the concept was really sick, and I also like love how they kept it directly the same as the game. They didn't change anything at all. I just said anything twice. Like when towards the end of the movie, it gets really good because it gets more brutal. And the ending, it's pretty tragic, but it's realistic. It's what happens in the movie. It is what it is. Like Markiplier's acting, it was pretty good for for a starter actor. He was really good. I can't lie. And the character of Simon, it was just so tragic, bro. Like the second he gets welded into that iron lung, he's basically just like a sitting duck. He's basically like on an egg timer for like when he's gonna die. He had no chance of surviving ever. I think when there's like characters like that, I think it's really kind of tragic and kind of sad. It's like fuck, man. You gotta feel really bad for Simon. And yeah, the movie was great. It was really mysterious and really good at building tension. One problem I probably didn't mention before, or I didn't, or I don't know. When the being was talking to him, there were parts where I could barely understand what he was saying. It kind of sounded like multiple people were just talking. It was like, it started sounding like muffled. It kind of sounded like I was waking up and I was barely adjusting, and people talking to you, and they're just like voices are muffled and shit. That's probably the only like complaint I have. Like the voices weren't really that great. I thought the ending was really great though. When the ship goes boom, the creature melts. The only thing that floats to the surface is like the black box, which is basically the black box. It was like this, I don't know, this data drive or this case containing like valuable information on another ship. He managed to download onto his ship that he needed to get back to the boys. Yeah, that was the only thing that was left of the ship. And then the movie ends. I thought it was pretty realistic, and I like how the movie ended. I thought it was a great ending. But anyways, yeah. That was me talking about Iron Lung. See you later.